Okay. Hey, everyone. So excited to have Deb Brown with us today, whether you're here live or watching the replay. Welcome. We are talking all about, well, relationships and revenue and how to, have your relationships make you more money and build you more connections. And Deb, I'd love to open with a little story, if you don't mind.
Go right ahead.
And then you can launch into your presentation. So I have a group program called the CEO Club. And today we met, and our focus for this month as CEOs is relationships. And we were just, I did a training about relationships, but the big pitfall I see, and I know I learned this from Deb, and I had to change it in my own thinking, is reaching out to people just for the sake of connecting and having no other motive. So we were practicing, like, what are the asks we could make? So I'm having founders dinners, right? So I don't want to say, who do you know that wants to come to a founders dinner? Actually, what I'm looking for, bigger scope, is who's a really cool entrepreneur you think I should know in New York City? And the comments just went wild. Like, I'm never going to be able to figure all these people out, right? And it's okay. But so we were practicing, and the people who kept getting tripped up were the people who kept trying to make it about their service or their product. And so we were practicing how to reach out on LinkedIn, how to reach out, say, hey, let's just grab a coffee, see what's happening. So that's my story that I wanted to open with. And I have been a fan of Deb's work for many years. She helped me put a relationship marketing plan together very, very long time ago when I first started business. And I'm so glad that you're here with us today.
Thank you. And thank you for hosting me. I'm grateful to be here too. I'm going to share my screen here and get this started. Oh, except now I got a bar in the way. Slideshow. So we are here for how smart professionals turn relationships into revenues. And we're going to learn 3 steps that will take you from a transactional business to a relational business. And there are some very big advantages to being a relational business versus a transactional business. So I'm glad you're here today, and I'd just like to start by finding out why you're here. What is it about the topic that attracted you? Maybe you just like Shannon like I do, and so you like to hang in her space. But type in the chat, if you would, why you came today. Lauren is here. We're just typing in, why are you here today? Shannon says she's all about relationships first in life and biz. Yes, she is. Hi, Lauren. Anybody else? What attracted you to come today? Love to hear. There's something you're wanting to learn specifically. Oh, you and your focus on relationships. Thanks, Lauren. Anyone else? All right. We'll keep typing in the chat. We'll keep checking that. The focus on relationships. Thanks, Elizabeth. Yeah. Well, that's good. Paulette says, my style used to be making it all about sales and don't anymore. Plus, I wanted to get a preview of Deb's work so I can promote her in San Diego. Whoop, whoop. Yeah, I am looking forward to that.
Deb, I have to interrupt here for a moment because I put this, what are we calling it? Referral parties together. Yep. And it has been so fun to watch the people who have showed up consistently do things like this, do things like you and Paulette are doing, and you're both part of that group. So that was a really big motivator for me to start bringing people together for referral parties. So
Yes.
I'm so excited to hear you two are working in this capacity.
Yeah. Yeah. Paulette's been great. I've got 12 people registered already, and I know almost no one in San Diego. So I've got a few contacts that know people, and they're helping me. It's all about relationships.
Yeah.
All right. So you are in the right place here today. If you want to make more money, but spend less time, energy, and money with marketing. If you want deeper and more fulfilling relationships, this is the right place for you. If you're tired of feeling guilty because you have a million things to do and you know some of the most important people in your business are falling through the cracks, you're not taking care of them the way you should, then you are definitely in the right place, and we're glad you're here. This is not for you if you want a quick fix. If you are one of these people who says, and I know someone like this, who says, I'm a capitalist, I just want to make money. If we all want to make money because we're in business, that's fine. But if you don't care about the people and you're really just in it for the money, this is not the place for you to be. And if you're doing this because maybe you feel obligated, like, I know this is what I should do, but it's not really what you want to do to take care of the people in your business and build relationships, then that feeling is going to come through, and this is really just a waste of your time. This is also not for you if you're just plain too cheap to invest in your relationships. You don't have to spend a lot of money, but if you're not willing to put time and effort and some money into it, then this is not the place for you. And that's okay. There are many ways to grow a business. So if you fall into one of those categories, please feel free to drop off, and no hard feelings for any of you. But if you're going to stick around, I'm glad you're here. And here today, we're going to learn how to go from being a transactional business to a relational business and why that's important. I'm also going to share with you why your next best client might already be in your circle right now, and how to build relationships for a more sustainable business. I'm going to give you everything I can in 60 minutes, but I'm very committed to getting off on time because time is important to everyone. So I can't give you everything, but I'm going to give you a way to connect with me further if you're desiring a little more at the end of this. So type in the chat for me, what does growing your business by building relationships look like to you? What do you see in your business, or what would you like to see in your business by using business building relationships to grow your business? More live in-person events, big and small. Yes, I've been very freed lately by going super small. Like, it's a good feeling. Great communication. Thanks, Paulette. Yeah, that's huge. If you can communicate with each other. Yes to live in-person events, lots of referrals. Yeah, when you build relationships, you do get more referrals because people know you, like you, trust you, and want to share more about you. So that's huge. And fun. Yeah, it's more fun to have relationships with people than just to be sitting behind your desk doing your thing that you do, right? It makes it more enriching. Joy. Yes, Shannon's all about joy. We love it. Awesome. Okay. Awesome. Lauren, we respect that. Camera is off. So in a perfect world, what would be the results you would see from building business relationships? How would that affect your business? All things perfect. How would you see that in your business? How would that affect
Can I answer instead of type?
Yeah, do it.
My content personality of live is I think that, so, I woke up this morning to like 3 things happening that I didn't expect, but they were like so joyful for me and showed me that the time I'm putting into relationships and my content, because I build a lot of relationships through my content, is working. So someone had sent me a call for speakers for Bahamas in October at a sandals resort, and I'm totally applying for it.
Nice.
I would have never known that, right? Like, you can't keep up with everything.
Yeah.
Plus I asked her, hey, Larissa, do you know the president of this organization and the person on the speaker sheet? And she said, yeah, as soon as you submit your application, let me know. I will go tell them. So I took like that extra step to like, get that in. Someone just invited me to a podcast based on a post that I just posted not long ago. And I can't remember the other one, but the point is that the results that I'm seeing now is that I'm not the center, but that I'm memorable, whatever that means to people. They're putting me like I do them, right? It's a reciprocity, but they're putting me, I'm in their brain, and they're like watching out for me, if you will.
So I hear opportunities. Opportunities that you wouldn't have known about that are coming your way that are beautiful. Like, hey, who doesn't want to go to sandals, right? I'll do that. And so it does. It opens up a lot of opportunities. And like you said, things that you can't keep your eyes on everything out there. And so whether it's an opportunity for a speaking engagement, a podcast, or a new client, if you have those people there to help make those connections, it just makes everything easier. You don't have to be doing everything. So if you're like most of my clients, you really do care about people in your business. And you're really good at what you do. And that keeps you very busy. And when you're busy, things fall through the cracks. There are only so many hours in the day. And another thing about most of my clients is that they're independent in growing their business. And when you're independent in growing your business, that's awesome for those of us who are these high independent types and don't want to be tied down by a boss, and we want a flexible schedule. But flexibility also means that there's not a system. Nobody's telling us, here's how we get things done. And so we have to kind of make it up as we go along. And while the independence is nice, if you're just making it up as you go along, things start falling through the cracks, and you have good intentions, but they don't always happen. So I want to share a little bit about Rebecca. She is one of those typical clients of mine. She loves, loves, loves her clients. She is a web designer, and she spends a lot of one-on-one time with her clients, creating the perfect representation for them online. And probably all of you have put a website up before, worked with a web designer, and like when you're in the process, you're working very close with that person. You're exchanging emails, you're having meetings, you're working on the copy and the graphics, and there's just so many details that go into it that you have to work one-on-one. And Rebecca loves that and takes great care of her clients. However, she was feeling a little guilty because she felt like she didn't really have a formal way to say thank you at the end of a project. And then when a project was done, she was really losing contact with her past clients. And if you've had a website done before, you know that there's always updates that need to happen. You need an overhaul in probably 2 to 3 years, honestly, as fast as technology moves. And so not staying in touch with her former clients was really some missed opportunities too. So she came to me, and her desire was to create a way to say thank you to her clients at the end of service so that they would know how much she appreciated their business. So we came up with a plan that was low cost, and highly memorable, highly personalized, we knew would totally touch her clients' hearts. She saw it, she saw the idea, she loved it, and she felt guilty because she's got this long list of past clients that aren't going to get this special gift from her. So she said, here's what I want to do. I want to give this gift to all my past clients. However, past clients don't keep paying you, right? That's a bummer. Wouldn't it be great if they did? And so these past clients are not paying her anymore. She's an independent professional. She doesn't have a big budget that she can just move around and, this special corporate gifting budget or anything like that. So we decided to send a few each month, a little at a time, to help get her caught up. So I talked with her after we'd done this for a couple months, and she said the results absolutely blew her away. She said after the first month when we mailed out these gifts, she had someone call her to thank her for the gift, to thank her for the thank you gift. You see how this is working? And not only that, but they said, I also have a project for you. And they hired her for new business. Same thing happened the next month and the next month. It kept happening. She said people were reminded of her. She became top of mind. And then they thought of all the things that they'd been meaning to contact her about all along. And so now she was getting more in new business than what she had invested to thank these former clients in the first place. So it had a huge ROI for her. And sending out gifts is one way. Client appreciation is one way to build a relationship, but it really is only one. There are many ways to build relationships. So Rebecca's challenge was saying thank you and keeping in touch with former clients. I would love to hear, when it comes to building relationships in your business, what are you challenged by? What's hard for you? You can type it in the chat, or if you're like Shannon and you just like to shout it out, unmute yourself and tell us, where do you get stuck?
Well, I'll go in case people are typing. I think I'm getting stuck on my business is growing and my circle is growing and more people are coming, which I love. And more people, like I have 30 some Facebook messages of people reaching out, and it's like how to nurture. And I find it fun. So that's important. This is not draining to me.
Right.
But keep up with it because it's coming from, my assistant said there's 12 emails that you got to go answer, like in the account. I took care of the rest. And then there's 30 some messages, and there's like comments on, and it's like, how do I streamline this so it still feels good to me and I can just manage it at this point?
Yeah. Yeah. So a lot coming at you and a way to organize it and streamline it. Good. Anyone else? Lauren says, I love to do snail mail, but definitely get stuck in the printing, addresses, stamping. I hear you. Yes. And Elizabeth says, managing information overload. Oh my gosh, is that our world today or what? Like, we are so overloaded. And, if you're like Lauren and trying to do some snail mail, it's not just their email address, but now you've got to have a mailing address and trying to keep track of all that information. And then just the tediousness of, the addresses, the printing, all those little details. It's easy to get stuck in the details. Anyone else have something that they're challenged with? A lot of people tell me they're challenged just plain with like, what do I do? Yeah, I want to build relationships, but, again, don't have a boss because I'm independent. I don't have a system. I don't have a playbook. I don't have anyone telling me what I should do next. And so sometimes you get stuck just knowing what to do. Another thing a lot of people get stuck with is consistency. Like you say, yes, I'm going to do this. I'm setting this as my goal, but guess what? Every day there's a new fire to put out. Every day there's something else that's distracting you from what you intended to do in the first place. And so finding a way to stay consistent, it can be really challenging for us entrepreneurs as well. So think about what the cost is to staying stuck. If you are getting stuck in the details and the snail mail never goes out, or if you've got so many to follow up with, like Shannon, which is a great problem to have, but people are slipping through the cracks, there's dollars attached to those cracks, right? So what is it costing you to stay stuck? And Paulette also mentions people who either never bought or bought small amounts, how to gently shut that down. Yeah. Or to nurture it and pump it up. You know, if they bought a small amount, that's a clue that they're more likely to buy from you again. So how do you stay in touch with them and nurture that so that they do buy again? Tried that, but it hasn't worked. All right. So yeah, so if it doesn't work, yeah, you do need to gently shut it down. Anyone else? They become time sucks. Yeah, and we've got enough sucking our time, so certainly we don't need any more time sucks. So staying stuck, it's costing you referrals, it's costing you opportunities, it's costing you sales, and in each business, it's a little different, but think about what the dollar amount is for an average sale for you, and then multiply that by all those opportunities and all those things that are not happening because you're not following up and you're not building relationships. So here are a few strategies that I have been taught over the years, and maybe you have heard some of them too. First is the be everywhere strategy. And I actually had a coach and mentor years ago, not Shannon, promise you, who said, be everywhere. She said, boy, when people tell me I see you everywhere, then I know I'm doing a good job. This is what she said from the stage. And so her thought was repurposing material, which is great, but she wanted to be on every social media platform. She was blogging and email, newsletter, and just, she wanted to make sure that no matter where anybody turned, they saw her. And if you are everywhere, then people will see you, and then logically you'll get more sales and get more clients because they can't stop from seeing you. So that's a strategy, and it's exhausting to try to be everywhere and do everything for everyone. So there's another strategy out there. And boy, you could Google this and probably find a program right now to grow your list, right? And it's not just grow your email list, but it might be you need to grow your Twitter followers, you need to have more LinkedIn connections, you need to have more Facebook followers, more fans on your Facebook page. It's grow, grow, grow. And if you get more people, then you'll get more sales. And there is a lot of logic to that, and it can work. I remember early in my business, I had an email newsletter list of about 300. I was pretty proud of that, but I wasn't seeing a lot of traction. And so I had someone, coach at that time, tell me, you know what, the tipping point is when you get to 1,000 on your email list, and then things are going to move better, things are going to go better for you. Well, guess what? By the time I got to 1,000, now the number is at 2,000 or 3,000, or, you know, it just keeps growing because our world is so busy that no matter how much you grow your list, you're always going to need to grow it more if this is your strategy. And again, it's another exhausting strategy, trying to find the ways to get more people in the funnel, and it can be very tiring. So another one that I have heard, do good work and the referrals will come, right? Just wait for it, stand in your power of doing your best work, And while I do firmly believe that your first priority should be doing good work and doing the best work you can, being the master of your craft, that is extremely important, because you're not going to get referrals or repeat business if you're not good at what you do. But if you're sitting around waiting, the referrals might come, they might trickle in, or quite frankly, they might not come at all. And it might not be because they don't like you or you don't do good work. It might just be that people are busy and it doesn't occur to them that they should be referring people to you. So these are not the strategies that I like. Imagine if, instead of being everywhere, you spend less time, less money, and less energy on marketing, but you're still making more money. Imagine if, instead of working so hard to grow your list, you have an unpaid sales force that will bring you the opportunities that you want and need without you having to work so hard. And imagine if, instead of waiting for the referrals to come, you actually had a proactive plan that you could implement so that referrals came more consistently, more frequently, and filled your pipeline for you. And imagine that your reputation precedes you and you feel more fulfilled with lifelong loyal clients and referral partners and colleagues that you look out for and they look out for you. That's what it can be when you build relationships instead of doing those other tactics. So a little bit about me, because some of you are new to me and you may be wondering, well, Deb, you seem real nice, but why should we listen to you? So I have a background in education. I love teaching and training and being on the stage speaking. That's totally my jam. So I am in my element when I am in a situation like this and get to lead a training. In my community, I am the go-to person for connections. I actually walked into a meeting last fall, a networking meeting, and the guy who runs the meeting brought in another person who was brand new to the meeting. And mind you, this is the first time I've ever attended this group. So he knows me from other places. And he brings this other new person in and said, Deb is the one you need to be connected to, not me. You need to sit by her and you need to be connected to her. I am very good at making connections because I'm very good at building relationships, and people recognize that for me. I'm also the author of Lifelong Loyal Clients, and I'll just give a shout out. It is 99 cents this week. So if you don't have it, now is the time to get it, 99 cents. And we'll put a link in there a little bit later if you're interested in that. So there it is. Yeah, I wrote the book on it. So trust me, I know what I'm talking about. And I have a unique ability to see the world from another's perspective. This is called empathy, right? Some people think empathy is just you care about others and you feel bad for them if something bad's going on. That's sympathy. Empathy is being able to put yourself in another person's shoes and understand from their perspective. And business owners often are so stuck in their own business and their own stuff that it's hard for them to step out and think, what does the person receiving from me want? And that's what I'm really good at. So a business owner is in love with their brand, and they probably want to give a branded coffee mug because that's like their baby, right? It makes them feel good to see that. But I'm able to look at it from their client's perspective, their referral partner's perspective, and say, do they really care about a branded anything from you? Or is there something more meaningful that we can do for them, whether it's a gift or a card in the mail or whatever it is, something more meaningful that will touch their heart in a different way, rather than being what you want to give, make it what they want to receive. And I'm also the queen bee of this amazing family. My husband and I are parents of 5 children, and our oldest is married to my daughter in love, as I call her, because I really do adore her. She's amazing, amazing gal. And can I tell you a secret? First time I'm telling this publicly, I'm going to be a grandma. Not until September, so we're still pretty early, but we're super, super excited to get our first grandbaby next fall. So that's a little bit about me. Why relationships? I think you guys are getting the point here that relationships are important. If you are not a relational business, here's what you are. You're a transactional business. And if you think about the transactions that you make from day to day, those transactions are all a commodity. It doesn't really matter where they happen. If you need to fill up with gas, you probably have your favorite gas station. But if it's not convenient, you're going to go somewhere else. And if your business is transactional, then that's what your clients are thinking too. It may be fine, but if it's not convenient, or if you raise your rates, or any little thing like that, something goes wrong, then they're more likely to jump ship and say, I'll try somebody else. Because in our giant world that we live in, our busy, busy world, chances are there's someone out there who does pretty much what you do. So building a relationship builds loyalty. And when you have loyalty, they won't jump over to the other provider. They won't try someone else just on a whim, or because you raised your rates, or because you made a mistake. They'll stick with you, they'll refer you, and ultimately you make more money. Here is why I care about this so much. The first statistic here, when I heard this, I was like, you're kidding me. 68% of clients leave a business because they believe the business doesn't care about them. When I first heard this, I thought, I'm off the hook, right? Because I actually do care about my clients. So the statistic is about other people and not me. But then I looked at it more carefully, because everybody I met, every business owner I met did care about their clients. And so I'm thinking, well, it's not just me, like everybody seems to care. It's not that they don't care. It's that the clients believe the business doesn't care. I think the reason that happens is because we're busy doing what we're doing. And so even if we do care, which I think everybody on this call does care, we are getting busy and not showing that and not expressing it. And then we run the risk of our clients believing that we don't care about them. And that's the number one reason clients leave a business, is because they believe the business doesn't care. So if you could take back that 68%, how would that impact your bottom line? Like, that would be huge. And that is a statistic that I want to wipe out, one business at a time, through relationship marketing. So the next one, 80% of sales are made after the 5th contact, yet only 12% of salespeople make more than 3 contacts. That's money left on the table through follow-up. Like, you've got prospects there, and if you're going 1, 2, 3 and done, you're losing a huge amount of sales, a huge amount of potential. And so again, it's just the follow-up. It's keeping in touch. It's finding ways to build that relationship a little bit longer so that they'll make the decision. And those statistics are changing all the time too. With as busy as our world is, sometimes it's even more than 5 contacts, because they're hearing about all sorts of things all the time in our faces, right? It's in our email inbox, it's in Facebook ads, everywhere we go, there's an offer. And so sometimes we have to hear about things a lot of times before we're ready for it. Then Harvard Business School says a mere 5% increase in retention will increase profits anywhere from 25% to 95%. That's huge. Partly it's because you don't have the expense of marketing onboarding, some of those initial expenses that you have with clients will increase the profits. But another reason is there's another statistic out there that says the longer a client stays with you, the more money they're willing to spend. Because they may just be dipping their toe in the water, trying a low price thing, and then as things progress, they go, okay, I can trust them. I got good results from this, so now I'm going to invest at a higher level. So they're willing to spend more money with you. Actually, when it gets to about the 3-year mark, it's months 31 through 36, they tend to spend quite a bit more than they do in months 1 through 6. So keeping them longer, they spend more with you, and you're spending less on getting new clients. So it's a great way to make more money without working so hard. That's why I care about it. So let's go through 3 steps to transition you from that transactional business that's a commodity to a relational business that has loyalty. Step 1, identify your existing network. Think about all the places you have a network. You may have a CRM, an email newsletter list. You might have connections on different social media platforms. You may have a pile of business cards on your desk or shoved in a drawer somewhere. You have a network. You just have to identify it. And for most of the people I work with, there are 4 main categories of people that have the biggest potential to their business. The first is prospects. So think about prospects who are in your pipeline right now. You may have gotten them at a trade show, at a referral, from a referral. Maybe it was from a speaking engagement. Lots of different ways those prospects come to you. But you've got some prospects that you have probably followed up 1, 2, maybe 3 times. And we just learned that 5 or more is going to make you a lot more money. So think about those prospects. Second is clients. You have the potential to make way more money by retaining your clients longer. So think about who's on your client list right now. Who are you working with right now? Those are the people that you want to give some extra special attention to, not just in the work that you do, but in some little relationship building ways to help them know that you care about them. Third is past clients. Think about Rebecca and her past clients that were just falling off the grid because she was busy with the next one. Past clients have potential for more money through client reactivation, and a past client is a much easier sale than a brand new prospect. So if you can keep in touch with those past clients, they're more likely to hire you again for whatever it is you do. And chances are, if they hired you once, they will need you again. And then the 4th category is referral partners. Some people call them your center of influence. They may just be colleagues. They may be, I don't know, I just call them referral partners. But the potential in these colleagues, referral partners, is in referrals and opportunities. It may be an opportunity like Shannon had for a speaking engagement, a podcast, something like that. It may be the referral directly to clients. And so if you nurture those relationships and stay top of mind with referral partners, then you'll get more referrals and make more money that way. So the myth, remember, was you need to be everywhere, that strategy. The truth is you just need to build a relationship with the contacts you already have. They're right there. They're right in front of your nose probably, and you just can't see them. So take a look at those 4 categories of people and make a list of who you have already in your network that with some nurturing could help you make more money in your business. Step 2 is to prioritize your best connections. Let's face it, not all connections are made equally. And we've all had that client that we don't really want again. So let's not nurture a relationship with them. We've had that prospect who just keeps questioning us, is a total tire kicker. It's not an easy sale. Like maybe that's someone you don't want to follow up with. Maybe that's a clue. But when you look at the list of connections that you make and you can prioritize them, use that 80-20 rule. And probably 80% of your money is coming from 20% of the people. Think of who are the best referral partners, who look like the very best prospects, who are your very best clients who not only work with you again and again, but they refer to you. Those are the people where you want to put most of your effort. There are a few ways to do this. You can, when you make a list of all these contacts, you can do like a B, C, D, and your A's are your best, your D's are delete, don't worry about them, and prioritize it that way. You can prioritize things like clients by just sorting in your accounting software and seeing who did spend the most money with you. That's the person who should get the most attention ongoing, because they're probably going to continue to spend more money with you if you take care of them. So we're going to prioritize those connections now. Remember that myth that you need to grow your list, you need to make it bigger, bigger, bigger. The truth is you just need to build relationships instead of building your list, and you can actually narrow it down to a smaller number of people that you want to focus on, because we can't be everywhere. We can't be everything to everyone. But if you can take good care of key people, it'll make a huge difference. So once you've identified your connections and prioritized your list, the last step is just to re-engage your relationships. There are lots of different ways to do this. And I think we've got time for me to share kind of the 4 main categories of reaching out. So first in our world is what we all go to, and that is virtual. This is text message, instant message, and email, anything virtual in our world. And the great thing about reaching out to people virtually is it's low cost, it's fast, it's easy, minimal amount of effort. If you're doing email to a list, like to your email newsletter list, you can send one message to thousands of people in the same amount of time you would have sent to one. So it's a great way to connect with people. Here's the problem. Our lives are so busy and our online world is just too much, and things can get lost in the shuffle. If you think about your email inbox right now, probably you have more than just a page 1 with those top 50 emails, right? You probably have many pages of emails, unless you're one of those amazing people that can stay on top of email. I have not accomplished it yet. It is a dream of mine someday. So if you email someone and they might see it, and they might see the title and just delete it because they think, you know, it's just your marketing email, even though it was meant to be a one-on-one connection. So it could just get deleted. It could go to spam. It could go to cyberspace where you know you sent it, but they never received it. So there's some problems. If they do open it, now the problem is they might look at it and say, I need to think about that. I'll get back to it later. And the next day, your email is now on page 2 of their inbox. And once you get to page 2, there's almost no hope. So it's not noticeable. It's easy to be forgotten. It's easy to slip through the cracks. And although it's quick and easy to send, if you really want to make an impression and build a relationship, it's not the best way to go. So a second way to engage with these relationships, in my day, I grew up in the 80s, and we had this thing on the wall at our home in our kitchen, and it was avocado green, and you picked it up and put it to your ear, right? Everybody remember old-fashioned, the telephone, right? So now our phones look more like this. And the nice thing about the phone is people can hear your voice and you can have an actual conversation, right? Nothing beats that, to getting to know somebody and they can hear your voice and the inflections. They can't misinterpret because of the way it's written in the email or whatever. It can be a great way to connect with people. But if you're a person who's tried the phone, probably most of what you've gotten is voicemail. People are screening their calls, or they're too busy to answer. They're in the middle of something else, which is fine. You can still leave a nice, friendly voicemail and they will hear your voice. Problem is, sometimes the voicemail box hasn't been set up. Sometimes the voicemail box is full. Sometimes you leave a message and most likely when you do, they don't ever return your call. I don't know why. In our world, it's become too complicated to return a phone call. And so although there are some advantages, it's not going to work the best for you probably. Another great way, we've been talking about this a lot on here today, is in person. In person is really like the best way to connect with someone because you're in the same room, you read the body language, like in person is great. Shannon says she hates talking on the phone, hate it. I do too. I really hate making phone calls, but I try to make phone calls, but it's not my favorite. But actually, I did do a little mindset shift years ago about this. I hate making phone calls, but I like having conversations. That helped me a little bit with the phone calls. So if that helps you all or anyone, I will throw that out there. So in-person is great for connecting with people. The problem is there is a statistic out there that says if you haven't connected with someone in 28 days, they've already forgotten about you. If you've just assembled this list of prospects, clients, past clients, referral partners, and you need to engage with them on a regular basis, say once a month, you don't have time for coffee dates and lunches and to do that for everybody. That would be all you would do. You would never get any work done. So while it's the best way to really make a strong connection with a person, it's so time consuming. And if you're adding travel time into that, and people who live around the country and around the world, it becomes impossible to manage. So my very favorite way to connect with people to make a strong impression is snail mail. I keep my little mailbox here. Snail mail is great because it involves more of the senses. People go to their mailbox, they open it up, they sort through the mail. And you do it every day too, right? And when you sort through the mail, some people just stand right by the trash can because half of what you've gotten are advertisements, marketing pieces, credit card offers, bills, right? That pretty much sums up your mail. But if once in a while you get something interesting, it's the first thing you're going to open. And there are some things that will make your mail stand out. But if you can be the most interesting piece of mail in your contact's mailbox that day, they will remember you. And because it's something physical, it will stay around longer than an email. The lifespan is much longer. So it might be something that sits on a desk or a bulletin board, if it's like a greeting card or something like that, or put on the refrigerator. It may just be something that, they sit it on their desk and think about it because maybe there's some sort of call to action or they think they want to do something with that or pass it on to someone. But just the fact that they have interacted with it and they've kept it a little bit longer makes you become more memorable. So that is a great way to engage with your relationships. And really, you want to do a mix of all of those things. If there's an opportunity to be in person with someone, take it. If you can make a phone call once in a while, do it. Sometimes you're going to resort to sending that email or instant message, but sometimes stick something in the mail. So you remember that myth of doing good work and the referrals would follow? The truth of it is, if you don't remember them, they won't remember you. So sometimes we sit back waiting, and while we're waiting, they're forgetting about us. If you actually are proactive to remember your contacts, by the act of you remembering them, they see you and they remember you. It's simple, but it's true. So, if you're intrigued, if you want to know more, I'd love for you to apply for a phone call with me. fill out the application, schedule a call. This is no risk, no obligation. I'm not like trying to force you to sell you something, but let's just have a conversation about how this might look for your business. And I love conversations. I told you that. I hate phone calls, but I love conversations. So I'd love to have a conversation with you about what relationship building looks like in your business and how we can make it better. Let me check the time real quick. All right. I think I have time for a story. Oh, let's talk about what's stopping us first. We talked about that a little before, but often you're maybe not sure what to do. Maybe you're worried about how much it's going to cost. And I think a lot of times we get stuck in what the gurus have told us to do. And I know Shannon doesn't do guru, so I know we're in good company here, that you have to do this traditional marketing and you're afraid to let go of some of those pieces. But what if letting go of some of that made room and space in your life to do relationship marketing that would actually have a bigger impact? I actually have a process for each one of these relationships that I talked about. This is my WOW process. And it's just a framework to help you figure out how to engage with your relationships and build relationships. The first is the welcome. First impressions matter. And it's a different way of welcoming a new prospect than it is a new referral partner or a new client. There's a different way for each one of those relationships. The next is ongoing outreach, because quite simply, if you don't keep in touch with them, they're just going to forget about you. You're going to fall off of their radar. And in everything you're doing, you're leading them to what's next. What's next for a prospect is making a decision about working with you. What's next for a referral partner is sending you referrals and opportunities. What's next for your client might be another project, another program, something else you can help them with. But knowing what's next helps you lead them in the right path so that you make more money. I'm going to skip Marjorie for now. Oh, maybe I should tell you about Liz. Okay, Liz, financial planner. Holy cow. You can see she's young, she's cute, right? She grew up on a farm, super responsible, hard worker, but she couldn't even get her prospects to call her back. She had this one guy that she'd called 13 times over the course of the year, right? She was doing the work. She was making the phone calls, but nothing, just leaving voicemails, never calling her back. And so she started working with me on sending snail mail to these prospects. At one point, she was like, you know what? I don't know about this because the stuff we're sending in the mail has nothing to do with financial planning. And I want to be taken seriously because I'm a serious professional. But I told her, just trust me. You want to build a relationship, and you could still be taken seriously, but this is about building a relationship. Well, she sent out a snail mail piece for National Humor Month, which is in April, in case you needed to make note of that. And it was a little card with a cartoon on the front, and inside each one, she stuck a fake mustache. After that card went out, the wife of the guy calls her back. And of course, we all know the women make the decisions, right? So when the wife calls, it's actually better than the husband calling. And calls back and says, you know what? I know you've been trying to get in touch with my husband. Let's sit down and set up a time to talk. Well, she ended up with $1 million account. Both the husband and wife each had $400,000 in retirement funds to roll over. And she was able to help them with a long-term care insurance that the husband wasn't qualified for on his own, but she was able to combine that with the wife's account and make that happen for them. So they loved it so much, they referred her to both of their adult sons who started investing for their retirement with her. They referred her to several of their friends. All of this new business, she attributes not only the $1 million account, but then all the referrals that came after it to a mailing about Humor Month. It really works, people. And it doesn't have to be serious and about your expertise. It needs to just build a relationship. So that's one of my favorite stories. I love her. There's an easy way and there's a hard way, right? The hard way is what we entrepreneurs are doing, right? We're piecing it all together, one thing at a time, and trying to figure out how to make it work. I've been doing that for years. So guess what? The easy way, just talk with me. I know what works. I know what doesn't. I've been doing this for many years now, and I'd love to make it easier for you. So we've got 4 relationships: prospects, clients, past clients, and referral partners. And then we have this WOW framework, welcoming each one, having ongoing outreach, and leading them to what's next. When you apply this framework to these key relationships and narrow down your list and focus on the most important ones, it will make a huge impact on your business. Here's what happens. Increased sales conversions because you're talking to prospects more than a couple of times. Increased client retention, which we learned can increase profits anywhere from 25 to 95%. Pretty huge. Increased reactivation of past clients, bringing them back to work with you again, which is more fun. It's like a reunion with your favorite people, right? You get to see them again, work with them again. More referrals and more revenues. That's what happens when you do this in your business. So I would love for you to book a call. If you want to take it a step further, I'm going to stop sharing my screen now. There we go. Awesome. Let's see. What about snail mail with a global community? I have done a lot of snail mail internationally, and it still works. It really does. People are even more surprised if they get snail mail from you when they live far away. But it is more expensive, and you don't have to rely just on snail mail. I really suggest a mix of things, but if those people could get something in snail mail from you once in a while, huge opportunity to brighten their day and make them remember you. Because if they're in a country where they're working with lots of people from America, because I think that happens a lot in some of these other countries, lots of coaches in America, and so they're working with all these Americans. If you're the one who sent them something in the mail, huge. There's also a lot of opportunities to look for more local businesses within their country and order online so that the shipping cost is not astronomical, with gifts and things like that, if you're going to do something like that. So that's a great way to do it too.
We've started doing that with using Etsy in the local countries.
Yeah.
Because, my spouse works for Etsy, so that's one, but we just love like their mission and their vision of empowering makers. So yeah, the gift thing, but the snail mail, it takes so long to get there.
I know. It does take a long time. Yeah. And at one time, Send Out Cards actually had a facility in Australia. And so I had a client in Australia. And so I knew, like, first of all, shipping is not a problem, and it's going to get there faster because it's right there. But I think they shut down that facility. But yeah, if you can look for something local, at least within their country, that can really help with that situation. I'm going to share the link to my book in case anybody wanted to grab your 99-cent copy. I am really trying to get it on the bestseller, but I'm not attached to it. If it doesn't happen, it's not the end of the world. But last I checked, I was number 6. I keep hovering around number 5 or 6. So I just gotta.
So we can help you share it with the link.
Yes. Yeah, that would be awesome. If anybody wants to just share that, that would be awesome.
Deb, can you also put the link to your appointment in there too?
I will do that. Oh, did I just share it with you again now? Yes.
I don't see anything.
Okay.
No. I see Amazon link.
Okay.
Yeah.
It took up my whole screen, so I was afraid it took up shared with you. Okay. Let me get that in there. There we go. There's the link. for that. So there you've got both those links. Any other questions, thoughts, comments, something you learned, something you're going to try?
I need to revamp my plan. Well, I don't have a plan anymore. The plan, the people outgrew the scale of the plan. So I have to like start again, I think. And
yes.
just not judge it and just get back to a clean slate and implement.
Yep. Yeah. Start fresh. Good. Yeah. Good. It looks like Paulette is typing. Here we go. I've found Zoom meetings to be great. Yeah. Yeah. It does make it more personal. It feels more like you're in person when you do a Zoom meeting than even if you're across the country than just a phone call. So yeah, that's a nice way to make it more in person and a great way to work with people internationally. And yeah, good. Any other comments, questions?
I have a question of when does your bestseller campaign end? Like, is there an end date?
Next Monday. Yeah.
So we got time to spread the word.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm on it. I'm on it.
Awesome. I did go on and see who was ranked above me, and there was someone else who was at 99 cents also. So that's number one. I'm like, oh, so someone else is running the same campaign in the same category at the same time. And that is why we're competing. So I'm hoping maybe their campaign ends before mine does, or I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what happens. It'd be fun to get it, but I'm not that attached to an Amazon bestseller.
Yeah. Cool. Well, it's a great book. That's why I would share it.
Yes.
Because
it's a great book.
It works. And I think my next step is read it now with where I am now and think about what I can do now.
Yeah.
And I have a whole client care person now. So that's a big difference, right? Because we can get the plan to the person and she can figure it out.
Yeah, it's huge when you have an assistant of some sort that can just do that. But then, like Lauren was saying, you don't get stuck in the details of the printing labels and printing out newsletters or whatever, and stuffing envelopes and putting stamps on. And the details can get a little.
Well, thank you so much, Deb, for teaching for my community today. I always love it when you're here.
Yes, thanks for having me.
Okay. Adios, everyone. Work on your relationship marketing plan.
Yes. If you don't remember them, they won't remember you. That is my parting word.
Okay. Awesome.
All right. Thanks, Elizabeth. Thanks for being here. Bye-bye, everyone.